I'm Bishop Bernadette Jefferson from Flint, Michigan, and I'm in Benton Harbor, Michigan, at the courthouse for Reverend Edward Pinkney, because injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And when they come against one of our own, when we're standing up fighting for our community, trying to make it better, trying to make a change for our community, and they fight against us to try to destroy the community, to try to destroy those that will stand up and fight and not be ashamed, try to make them back down, that make us push forward even the more. It makes us fight even the harder.
I'm at the Berrien County Courthouse in Benton Harbor, Michigan. Came here from Chicago to support Reverend Pinkney in his bogus trial.
Yes, Reverend Pinkney was brought up on bogus charges of voter fraud, and there was an attempt to intimidate him because they had a recall petition for the Mayor Hightower for his support of Whirlpool and voting against property tax for the big businesses in the community.
Today he's been brought to trial on no evidence. The court has no evidence, but yet they think circumstantial evidence will convict him by an all-white jury.
The trials that he's had down through the past of circumstantial evidence that they've had, because he's a great advocate for the people here in the Berrien County, knowing how the court system works. I think they have been trying to get him out of the way so they can continue as they have in the past. I noticed in 1997 here, once I wasn't a member of Banco or anything, I was working every day and I didn't have a chance to really know what was going on in our city. But when they had the Klansmen, the Ku Klux Klan was able to have a rally here, and our tax dollars supported their safety. They had the police to protect them, put up walls and everything to protect them. So that was an indication to me that they were against mainly the poor people, but also Benton Harbor, because they constantly talk down on Benton Harbor. So now I think that with Reverend Pinkney standing up and making people aware of what is going on, they want him really out of the way. So any opportunity they get, they will try to take him out.
Yeah, well, as most people watching this will be familiar with, it's a long history. It's over 10 years. It's essentially about the emergency manager law, which in the People's Tribune we're calling an American form of fascism, because it is undemocratic, and it's essentially a mechanism for the corporations to exert even more control over the public sector than they have in models of the past. And nowhere is it happening faster and scarier than Michigan. Reverend Edward Pinkney has been one of, if not the most outspoken leader against this movement of privatization, and a defender of the interests of poor people. And he has a huge following here. Being a religious leader, he has a certain amount of power in the community. And the people at Whirlpool Corporation, which is the major corporation here in Benton Harbor that is behind the privatization movement, don't like that. And so they've been trying to get him on stuff for years, but this time it's really serious. He is facing up to 25 years in prison for what amounts to a few marks on a few pieces of paper that there is no evidence that he made them. In fact, the point is, we just sat through what, like
almost 8 hours.
How many hours?
About 7 to 8 hours.
7 to 8 hours of courtroom, of legal, juridical process, in which there was not one bit of real evidence presented in support of the charges that Reverend Edward Pinkney made the changes to the petitions
Right.
that they're calling voter fraud. They spent the whole time talking about his political beliefs, his role in the community, interrogating people about Banco, the Black Autonomy Network of Community Organizers. It felt like the McCarthy era. I feel he's already not gotten a fair trial. I felt all 7 hours that we sat through today were unnecessary and have already framed the question and the case in an unfair way that makes it about, like, putting his politics on trial rather than actually talking about the charges that he's alleged with, the alleged charges. So in that sense, I think it's too late for what I would call a fair trial. It was quite shocking to see what appeared to be an all-white jury in a town that is 90% black, in a case where every witness was black, and the man being tried was black, and the bailiff and lawyers and judge are these white dudes, and it's these white folks on the jury. I think I saw one Latina woman, that was quite shocking, just to think about that and to see visually the racial dynamics that are, that represent the whole larger patterns in our society in the courtroom. We hear about that all-white jury thing a lot. It's kind of the oldest trick in the bag in some ways, but that was the first time I'd ever seen that.
These tactics in the community representing big business are going to be brought to your town soon. They'll use the same methods to support their large businesses in the community and peddle their influence.
Yes, it's good for other people that doesn't live in the county to pay attention to this trial, because they need to know exactly how the government operates here. If you're not one of the 1%, then they are against you. I believe that Benton Harbor is just a testing ground to show you the injustice that's going across the states. It's very well and alive, not only in Barron County, but in the state of Michigan also.
Pay close attention, because if it works here, it will begin to spread other places. So we are to be sure that we keep an eye on Benton Harbor, support us here, because it's us today, tomorrow it may be you.
And we're under a government that's trying to take our democracy away, trying to take free choice away, trying to take our voice away. And if we don't pay attention to every move that he makes, when we look around, it'll be at our front door.
Okay. Well, the reason that we came up from Chicago, the reason why folks came from Detroit, folks are paying attention to this in California, from all over, is because this has serious implications for the whole country. Because the emergency manager model can be used in other states, and in fact is already being used. In California, they appointed an emergency manager of education that was behind, as I understand, the movement to close City College of San Francisco. So this kind of mass privatization movement is very serious. It puts our basic needs, our basic democratic rights, our basic survival needs like food and water and housing and healthcare and education, all on the chopping block, all in jeopardy. And Americans everywhere should take it very seriously.